Week 0 is officially in the books, and we can finally say college football is back and on tap for tonight's show. Georgia Tech stuns Florida State in Dublin, Ireland. Also previewing some of the games for week 1. We're going to talk about that UNC Minnesota game. We're going to talk about that Wisconsin versus Western Michigan. We're going to talk about Clemson and Georgia. Also, we're going to talk about Boise State. Nah, we're not going to talk about Boise State. We're going to switch it up. Only on Overreaction Monday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Today I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, a.k.a. Downtown Nino Brown. Yes, sir. Welcome to another marvelous episode of Overreaction Monday. I am the governor of college football, and with me is a guy that needs no introduction, the mayor of college football, downtown mother effing Nino Brown. Nino, you know something happened over the weekend. It was like 229 days, you know, that we had that thing that the other people, it began with an O, and FF, and we don't say the word, but yeah.
No, that's a listen. That is a 9-letter word that we just don't speak. Okay?
we don't say it at all. But Georgia Tech and Florida State had a back and forth affair in Dublin, Ireland, with Georgia Tech winning 24-21. Nino, now he told me some crazy stuff in the green room. Brian Brosarge, what's happening?
My guy
told me some crazy stuff in the green room. Take it away, bro. You gonna let them know what you just told me? He's a sicko, bro. Like, help this man. Somebody help him, please.
I just don't understand. I said to you about this Florida State game. I said there was too many moving parts.
Right.
Correct? Right? Like
right.
Too many moving parts. And it looked like this is not a very well-oiled machine at all. It looks like they're trying to figure out a fly. I know you said to me, oh, well, the OC, Alex Atkins is suspended for 3 games. But there was a game plan. You know how to execute. All I heard about, right, outside of DJU's leadership, this running back room looks so good. This running back room is going to be explosive, going to be a 3-headed monster. We're going to have Jalen Lucas. And I was a big advocate of Jalen Lucas, and I do believe that he will be the most electric or explosive running back in the room, however they want to use him. Who's the running back? All I saw was they were missing the physical running back presence of Trey Benson dramatically in that running back room. Like, is Toli Fa'alu a running back? Is he a slot receiver? What is he? Because I think he got more targets downfield than they gave him out of the backfield. I don't understand the whole concept. And they will say, oh, well, DJU was very, accurate. He was accurate because he averaged less than 7 yards per attempt. The man seemed like he was nervous. And I loved what he did last year in Oregon State. I love Big Dave, and I'm not trying to just rip DJU apart. But it looked like he was kind of like they never let the reins off him. And he was kind of scared the whole time. Even some of his runs, it was like he was kind of running like
he didn't have that pop. That pop we're not expecting him to have at all.
So like in that respect, I was just kind of like, The wide receiver. Where's the threat? Where's the scale? Oh, Malik Benson is taking off. They need Akeem Williams. However they need to develop this kid, they need to get him on the field because they're really. Pointer was okay. He had like one catch in the second half, but like there was really nobody to just come over there and stretch the field. Start taking DBs and start worrying about him at all. Granted, it didn't help that they were doing the Tom Brady dunk and dink. You know what I mean? Like I said, under 7 yards per attempt. But there was just a lot of things on the Florida State side. Inconsistent on offense. It looked great in that drive to open up the game, right?
You did.
Then they will just caca for 2.5 quarters until they needed to score to tie the game up in the fourth quarter. And then DJU looked like that leader, that veteran presence. But it's just too inconsistent. Like I said, offensively, too many holes. Defensively, there were some guys that, stood out to me, but they were kind of on the field a lot too. I mean, Patrick Payton is a freak. All right. He's got that speed, that length, that twitch. He's going to be a problem on the edge. If he's not getting triple teamed, they just kind of just took him away after the first quarter. Put 2 bodies on him, make the guy move around. By the time he was moving around and actually got in the backfield, the ball was out or Haynes King was running. Shane Brown, for a guy who was supposed to be a cover corner, he's got one hell of a presence on the ball. I seen this guy attacking Haynes King and the QB runs, getting in there or anytime that Jamal Haynes had the ball. He seemed like he's going to be the guy in that secondary that's going to be attacking the ball. DJ Lundy had the mic on, and you could see that he was the leader of that linebacker room in that front 7, calling the plays. And as far as the mic goes, you could see that Haynes King was having trouble adjusting to having a headset on. You could see him was like this the whole time. I granted, Ireland's loud, and it's a lot more fans over there, but like this is going to be, the mic is going to be an issue, I think, for teams early on till they get used to it. You're not used to having someone in your ear screaming a play to you, and you got to do it in what? I think the thing shuts off at 15 seconds, right?
Seconds is the cutoff, yep.
So it's going to be something on the fly. I heard going into it from a bunch of people, I don't know if Jamal Haynes can be that running back guy, with the inexperience. He only had 1 year. It's coming over from like being a wide receiver. They didn't know if he was going to be more of the running back or the receiver guy. He could do both. I know he's a small guy, but this dude just has that electricity to him. He's got that twitch. He can run inside. He can run outside. He did pretty much anything that they asked him to do for Georgia Tech on Saturday. And I love his game. This linebacker room for Georgia Tech, they are sneaky talented. I know everybody's going to talk about the neck roll kid, right? Effort,
right.
Yeah,
everybody's been talking about him.
He looks the pop, right? And the whole 9. But I'm going to tell you, the kid that stood out to me was the true freshman, Taj Butler. Just knowing where to be, knowing when to get downhill and attack. Gives me eerie similar vibes. And I know this is a big thing to put up there, but Anthony Hill Jr. from last year, like the way like a kid coming in there with no experience, being like a highly recruited kid that came in, he looked really good in that game early, especially early on when you would think that a true freshman would be kind of like trying to figure it out. Right, he was getting downhill and disruptive. And DJU hated him early on. What was the biggest issue that everybody talked about? Haynes King needed to figure it out.
Not turning the ball over. Yeah.
I don't know if the fumble they recovered, they didn't end up losing it, but I don't know if the fumble was on him or if it was on.
And it was two instances of muff snaps, but they didn't end the turnovers. Neither team turned the ball over. Actually.
Right, and he kind of put it in the breadbasket of Jamal Haynes. I don't know who they would have put that on if they had lost the ball, but other than that, he was very protective of the ball. Right, I didn't really see many. There was one in the first half where a turnover-worthy play deep, the kind of on the left sideline.
Right.
To Rutherford, I might have been. But other than that, he was very good and selective.
I like that kid too.
When he rolled out, he wasn't instantly looking to just run. He kind of was looking, all right, let me see if I have any options here, going through some reads and progressions, and then he would take off. I mean, there was design runs where he just hiked the ball, took one step back, and went forward. I mean, he is not going through progressions that the play's not designed to. But on plays that were broken, he had to extend. He looked to kind of develop a little bit more from what he went through last year. And you could see that he was trying not to make mistakes. And he was doing well. And he was in command of that offense. I think once he gets more adjusted to the helmet, it'll be, just second nature to him.
What a difference a year makes. Because if you think about it, last year, they controlled the first half, maybe even the first 3 quarters of that Louisville game and their opening game last year. But they just, and there was a couple of times that we seen it did go in Georgia Tech's way, but there was a few times it didn't go in Georgia Tech's way. And then this year, we look like, big bad Florida State is coming, converted 2 key passes on 4th down to tie the game up 21-21. They kept their composure. They was able to win the game. And you just got to love Brent Key. Like, we've been screaming about Brent Key for a while. And that's what that access of going to an ACC media days or whatever media days you guys can get to, you get to really meet these guys. He stole the show last year, asked him a question, and he even made a joke out. He's like, damn, you waited to ask me that question for a year, didn't you? Like, he literally said that. You know what I'm saying? You got to love him. And I love the way he said, run the ball.
I know, at the halftime, yeah, like, he was excited. I mean, obviously, the mantra at Georgia Tech is put a hat on a helmet, because Haynes King said it about 17 times. You mentioned Rutherford. And this is something I want to bring up because our guy Corey over at C2C kind of made a post about Eric Singleton. they're going to have to either A, find a way to get Lane or Rutherford the ball, right?
For sure.
Or figure out something to do with Singleton. Because he was in motion probably 70% of the time.
He was.
And that dude was blanker. They had a one high safety most following him wherever he went.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get I don't think he got a first catch. He had a carry. I think he got a first catch in the second half.
Yeah.
They're going to have to figure out something. They're going to need another presence in that room. I don't know if they have to stack him on the side of whether it be Rutherford and then split him off or whatever, but they're going to have to find some unique ways to get him open. I mean, I would have thought that as the running game was getting established, that they would have been able to get Singleton downfield on some, I know they missed him on the 40-yard touchdown, right?
Right.
And that was the play that my guy caught on Twitter. He did overthrow him a little bit, but there was other times where I really wish, they could have got him somewhere in space instead of trying to get him right off the line of scrimmage quickly. They got to figure something out. Rutherford did have enough nice play, as did Lane down the right sideline. But they need more out of that room. Right. They really, really do.
Shout out to Georgia Tech defensive coordinator Tyler Santucci. He did an amazing job. I know a lot of times we talk about the inefficiencies of the team that you expect to win, but sometimes we don't give enough credit of the team who went out there and earned the win. Watching this game reminded me of a game I watched last year that you were at, Nino. It reminded me of the BC game. And you guys beat yourself that game. What did you guys have? Like 20 some odd penalties or something? Like maybe it was 15 or 16.
They had a record. I think it was 11 offensive penalties.
It was so you guys beat yourselves. There was a game that Florida State started off sluggish. Like we've seen this movie before, but a big deal didn't get made out of it because they were actually able to win games. That's the difference in between winning and losing. You lose now, it's a myriad of problems. What happens if BC marches into Tallahassee and get a win week 2? Oh, y'all thought Florida State fans was acting a fool this past week. If BC go down there and beat them this upcoming week.
I got 2 questions before we move off topic for you. One, I know you said Florida was that team that you thought could just show up in the rankings. Georgia Tech just beat the number 10 team in the country. They pull out a victory in week 1 officially.
Based on the 2022 AP poll, where Florida was unranked, they beat Utah, and they went from unranked to 12. Based on that thinking, right, and they have the strength of schedule. So if you say, hey, we put them in the top 25, let's say we put them in the top 15. They have the schedule to, hey, if it's a rough schedule, then they're easy on out of there. But based on that same thinking, that same mindset, you have to put them in there. That's a great point. AP poll comes out when? Tomorrow?
Should be.
Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow, like 11. Around 11 o'clock that comes out. And what was your next question?
Florida starts 0-2. Florida State starts 0-2. How hot is Mike Norvell's seat now? Because now you understand that you can't really do it without your man.
Yeah, that's slippery. That's
a great recruiter,
right?
But I need dubs, baby.
Yeah, I think last year bought him a few years.
I think last year brought him more pressure. He bitched, and everybody bitched with him. And the very next product you could get was trash, and the next product the following season has been trash.
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't look good.
And this is always my point to these type of questions. If not him, then who? Like that's always my answer. I think he has at least a couple seasons of mediocrity before everybody wants to set him.
This year?
That's people will be upset, just like people were upset.
I'm not saying he'll get fired.
With Dabo. He won't get fired,
but it'll be hot.
He can have 2 back-to-back mediocre years, and I don't think he'll get fired. But it's a seat a lot warmer.
Yes,
it's a seat a lot warmer post Saturday than it was prior to Saturday. Prior to Saturday, seat was super cool.
All I'm saying is games in Ireland tend to want to leave coaches on the Comex.
Whoa! Don't you do that.
That's all I'm saying.
Don't go Scott Frost on me.
Seems to be the thing.
Dude, 2022 will forever be like Twitter 2022 during the Scott Frost fiasco, undefeated. if there's a time period I can go back to and just watch Twitter, because that's when I first came into this realm. That time period was
3.2, 3.5, 3.3 is what they averaged on the ground between the three running backs. That is terrible for something that you guys are beating your chest like King Kong about. Like, I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear your shit no more. I hear these goddamn fans cry for so many weeks after they didn't make the playoff.
You're right. They booed the hell out of Kirk Herbstreit.
Everything after that's been trash, man. I'm sorry.
Lay the egg, and it's all DJU's fault.
I didn't say it was DJU's fault.
No. I know you didn't say that. I'm saying their fan base is saying it.
Yeah.
And NFL hasn't started yet, so we got. I try to avoid Twitter on week 0 and week 1 for that.
Yeah, week 2 is when it's
week 2 is us. It's us again. But like week 1, week 2, I gotta go to my list during week 0 and week 1. That's honestly what I need to do. Great analysis, Nino. I think a lot of times we don't get a chance to tell. I don't get a chance to tell you that, but that great analysis. You really broke it down. Alrighty, so we have Thursday night action in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as the Golden Gophers host the North Carolina Tar Heels. These two teams did match up a season ago, with North Carolina winning 31-13 in Chapel Hill. Nino, your least favorite analytical stat. Minnesota's returned to 71% of their production. What is the overall temperature in Minneapolis right now? Talk to me, because we've talked about this slightly a few episodes ago.
I think the temperature in Minneapolis is like a preheated oven. We're ready to cook. Okay, that's what I think they are right now. I mean, the addition of FCS pass leader Mac Brosner to the QB room, former New Hampshire. Hi, how you doing, New England guys? Right, should lift the Gophers offense dramatically. 64% accuracy last year. He threw the ball almost 3,500 yards and 29-6 touchdown to INT ratio. That's going to be an upgrade. I cannot say his name. Athen, whatever his last name was that was there last year. I will totally mess that up. I will not do that to him. That's an upgrade from him. I think he was like in the low 50s when it came to being completion percentage. I think Brosner's he's not getting talked about enough. There are some people out there. Oh, my guy, Jared Pilgrim, he's been talking about Brosner for a little bit. I think this kid's going to do things. It's going to be a 2-part piece right here. I think PJ Fleck's seat should be hot slightly for different reasons outside of his coaching record.
Okay.
He makes some stupid ass comments and says stupid shit. But the fact that you were remotely, I'm going to go with 80% responsible for Darius Taylor getting hurt. He was a true freshman that you rushed him 140 times in 6 games. Like, you don't think that's a little bit of overusage, my guy? In 6 freaking games, my man almost had it was right there to 200 reps in 2 more games. Like, what are you doing as a true freshman? Well, I guess he learned his lesson. Went out and got some backup for the homeboy. You know what I mean? Some guys who know what they're doing. Went out and got Ohio running back transfer, Say Bangera, who's been an absolute dude. 1,300 yards, 20 touchdowns over the past 2 years at Ohio. Marcus Major from Oklahoma running back. So they did to keep the room very fresh and very clean. Another piece to this puzzle, it took them a little bit, but Daniel Jackson emerged last year for the Gophers. You're talking about a second all Big Ten team wide receiver. That's a dude. You know what I mean? Like, he came on, was good for them. 831 yards, 8 touchdowns. This is a question I kind of have for you, going back at you, because I know, new DC Corey Heatherman comes over from Rutgers. You love Rutgers. Okay?
I love Rutgers. Yes, I do.
And he brings all sorts of schemes and stunts, because that's what he likes to do.
Right.
But he also gets the guy back in Cody Lindbergh healthy, all right? In 4 games last year before the injury, he had 31 tackles and 4 tackles for loss. I mean, those numbers would have been astronomical had he made it all year. What Heatherman did, though, in the past 2 seasons with the linebacker room, right, between Jennings and Torrey, although Torrey's going to be out this year due to an injury, looking at 200 tackles and 20 tackles for loss between the 2 of those guys. Can this gentleman bring that success from Rutgers under the Schiano scheme, right, and have success here. What are your thoughts on him before we continue?
I think one it's a great pickup. You're talking about a guy that loves to bring simulated pressures, also supports the corners from time to time with safety help. So if he's able to duplicate some of the successes that he's had in Rutgers, it should bode well for Minnesota. But they just got a guy at head coach that I'm not a huge believer in. So
right, like I
said,
don't know. And his record 15-37, cool. You were 67 last year, not cool. You played integral part in getting your stud running back hurt. You came out of pocket twice, dude. That was just stupid. Did they say people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones? PJ lives in his own little world, you know. Clearly. And apparently he don't like it if you don't give him the right intro and respect. So he might walk back out and walk back in till you get it right.
That's crazy.
You know, that's what I've heard coming out of there. That's what multiple ex-players have said that. I if he don't get it right this year, I think we're going to start talking about maybe it's time for a new culture in Minnesota because they're getting the talent. Right. I mean, just last year, Tyler Newman, right? He went to the NFL. Like, so they're getting guys and making it to the next. Well, now we got to start stacking the wins and not just 8 and 9. We need to be at top of the Big Ten instead of being mediocrity.
That is interesting. Great breakdown. So, Nino, I know how you feel about. I'm sorry, you know how I feel about quarterback controversies that bleed into the regular season. Sidebar: what an egg SMU laid this past.
Oh, whoa, hold on! You're not getting away. What egg? We're counting dubs, right?
Well, yeah, of course we're counting dubs.
Laid the egg.
You was impressed with SMU this past weekend?
I wasn't impressed. I was impressed with how they won the game through all the adversity. You gotta remember, this kid's coming back from an injury. This was really his first game. It took him a little bit.
It did take him a little bit. I'm okay with that. But Nevada, a team that really can't throw the ball. We're talking about they got just an athlete at quarterback. Third and 12.
I'm pretty sure he threw the ball pretty well, right? What do you have? Almost 200 yards in the air.
Third and 12, third and 13. They running quarterbacks runs, buddy. like I mean, listen. I'm not a fan of quarterback controversies. I'm not. It's not fair to neither one of those gentlemen that they got to sit here and go, oh well, you get 2 series, you get 2 series. How can you get?
He only got 1 series.
Who only got 1 series?
Kevin Jennings was only 2 for 5. Oh, what, he got 3 series, but he only made 5 pass attempts? He was only 2 for 5.
No, I was about to say he got more than 3 series. They were probably running.
Well, then that shows you why he's in there. Then he's only in there for his ground attack
and RPO.
Yeah, that's it.
RPO. But I don't like it. I don't like it.
No, you stay with Preston Stone and you let him ride it out. If he gets hurt, you have a legitimate backup.
To me, it feels like a political decision and not a decision that's based on the betterment of the team. Political decisions happen when I don't want to lose Preston Stone to the portal. I don't want to lose Kevin Jennings to the portal, and then you put out the product that you put out on Saturday. They got to win, and we won't be in week 10. Will it matter that they barely got past Nevada team? No, because we are stacking wins like you said. But the SMU that I'm expecting and my expectations for SMU this year, especially making a leap from the Group of 5 to the Power 4, that's not going to cut it in the ACC.
What if Nevada's got 8 wins at the end of the year?
I don't see that happening.
I'm just asking.
I
or they're in a bowl at 6 to 7, and they go bowling.
Maybe, but there's some teams. There's some teams in the Mountain West, bro. I don't see that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Did you think they would have been in this game?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Sometimes when you go to a whole new vibe and Brendan Lewis, it changes things. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like I said, the jury's still out on SMU. Like I said, I've had high praise for Preston Stone this year. I said he can be a dark horse to win ACC.
I think he's an NFL caliber quarterback.
I agree with you too, and I love the coach Rhett Lashley. But like I said, what I seen on Saturday was political. It wasn't football. Yeah. So getting back to where I was at. So what is the overall temperature in Chapel Hill? And from what I've heard, both quarterbacks are playing.
I think you're going to see 3 quarterbacks, bro. I think Chris Wall gets in there as well. And I just don't think they want to talk about it because they don't want to stir the pot to make it even worse.
Right. And this is something that you've been saying for a while.
The kid left, went to Arkansas, came back. He doesn't have much experience under his belt. He's got the years. I think he's got another year after this left. So, like, if things don't work out, the temperature kind of in the middle.
Okay.
I don't think expectations are super duper high right now in Chapel Hill. And I think they're kind of in a period of like, what are we doing with? Where's the future of this program? What are we going to do with Mack Brown? Not that he's done anything wrong, right? But Dan's damn near 80 years old, right? Like he's not going to be coaching forever.
The sport is getting younger.
Who's gonna be the next face to come over and stop bringing the talent? You know, Drake May's gone, right? You know what I mean? Like the big names are gone. Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the face? I don't know. I just don't know if anybody on this quarterback roster right now is the next face of North Carolina football. You know what I mean? So I think right now they're kind of calm and cool, trying to figure it out.
I like that. So give me some players to watch for both teams.
I mentioned about, Drake May's gone and stuff like that. And I don't understand why he doesn't get talked about enough. I kind of wrote up about him in an article earlier in the year when offseason kind of just started to bubble a little bit.
Right.
Josh Downs was there. Dude did his thing.
For sure.
They brought in, I'm not talking Downs. I'm talking this gentleman ate and did his thing. They brought in Tez Walker, right? And this gentleman was, the backbone for them until Tez was able to get activated. And even when Tez was activated, that's all they wanted to talk about was Tez. But J.J. Jones has been a guy,
right,
for the Tar Heels in the past, 2 seasons. Amidst, these stud wide receivers, 70 receptions, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he wasn't fully healthy last year. That's over the past 2 seasons. I think it's his time to cue up Michael Buffer. It's time for my guy J.J. Jones to shine. Outside of Bryson Nesbitt, I don't really see any other threat to him being the main receiver, say, on this offense. He's outside threat. He goes up for contested catches. He's good on the perimeter. He's got good field awareness. I have a funny feeling that J.J. Jones is going to be the leader on this wide receiver room, and you're going to see it early and often. Whoever the quarterback may be, Jones is doing it from going from Maryland to UNC. He's figured out a way through multiple quarterbacks to be successful, and I do believe he will find it one more year at UNC and be a guy for them as well. Another gentleman that's just an absolute monster, Paul Eccles. I mean, you're looking at a linebacker, right? Like Cedric Gray was there, so he was the guy, and that's all anybody cared about. But if he puts up 100 tackles for the 3rd straight season with no Cedric Gray, then we know that he's legitimate. He'll be playing on Sundays. I mean, it's not just a tackle. He's got 5.5 tackles lost in back-to-back years. I think he's got 3 sacks over the last 2 seasons. The dude he can get downhill. He can run stop. Doesn't necessarily do well in coverage, but if you need him to, he will. He will do whatever you ask. But this guy is the heartbeat of this front 7 for the Tigers. And I think this kid is going to have another huge, huge season, and he'll be playing on Sundays. And then the last one is a combination. We'll go Marcus Allen, Elijah Huzzy. I mean, these 2 combined for 14 pass breakups and 4 interceptions for Minnesota last year. And I got a funny feeling that they're going to be given, whether it's whoever it will be at quarterback, I have a funny feeling they're going to be giving them a hard time. Watch out for both of those gentlemen. Just watch out for the Gophers. They're kind of my sleepy, dark team in the Big Ten this year. If they catch lightning in a bottle, if Max Brosler can be 50% better than a gentleman from last season, they could be a thorn on a lot of people's side in the Big Ten.
Minnesota, huh?
They could run you out of the room. That's the thing. They could control the clock. They got a guy who's really accurate that can throw the ball all the field when necessary now, right? 3 deep in the running back room. They could literally, you could get 6 possessions a half if they're successful on the ground like they were before Darius Taylor got hurt. If you're going downfield and putting up even 3 or 7, and it's taking 7 minutes every drive, good luck. First of all, look at you. He was cold as every time Georgia Tech was going on them long runs.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And at home, oh boy.
I like it. So Minnesota is a 1.5 favorite. Prediction time, Nino. Who you going with and why? I think if I'm reading the tea leaves, I think I know who you going with. Who you
I'm
going
going Minnesota here.
Okay.
For the simple reason why I didn't like Florida State in last week's game. They have very little questions or moving pieces on the offensive side of the ball.
That's a good point.
Right? It may not be a stat that I like, but 70% return production. There's not a lot of questions. You know what I mean? You just fill in little holes. I said it before. They could possibly run the Tar Heels out of the building. But Brosnan brings a sexy little passing game aspect to the Gophers that we really haven't seen in a few seasons. Keep sleeping on the Gophers. You might be catching an L.
I like it. So you went Minnesota. You think they're going to run them out of the building, so you got Minnesota covering the spread.
I think Minnesota wins by at least 3.
Yeah. When I heard Mac Brown say, hey, we're going to be playing 2 quarterbacks this game, I automatically said, hey, in Indianapolis, I'm going Minnesota.
Yeah. We're going to stack the box because you're going to give Amari Hampton 25 touches.
Yeah. I'm going Minnesota in that one. So next game on the docket is a game between Western Michigan Broncos and the Wisconsin Badgers. Year 2 of Luke Fickell and Madison. What is the overall temperature of the Badgers heading in year 2? If there's a team, fun fact, if there's a team that I do a lot of studying, I do a lot of homework, but if there's a team, I will say in the P4, I'm just like, what is their ceiling and what is their floor? And there's a team I'm unsure of. Granted, it's a team I love because their team is a huge friend of the family. Wisconsin let us do whatever we want when we go there. But like, what's the temperature in Madison? Talk to me, Nino. What's going on with the Badgers? What do I need?
Sorry, Badger family, you're not going to be very happy with me, but it's sauna status, okay? Because I think that if Wisconsin is again losing to the ass end of the Big Ten competition, we're going to be talking about possibly walking Luke Fickell to the outhouse.
Wow.
The air raid in Madison got off the ground about as far as the Challenger shuttle did. Okay? About as good as Jordan Belfort did trying to get to his car after the Quaaludes. That's how good it got taken off.
Well, for Wall Street reference, I love it.
It was gross. And the fact that this season and this offense hangs on the prevalence of a guy's collegiate career whose soundtrack is Elevator by Flow Rider, because that's how up and down it's been his whole time in college. TBD could hang Luke Fickell in Wisconsin, and it could get ugly.
Seeing Braylon Allen in that offense last year was equivalent to seeing Will Rogers in Starkville last season.
Yeah,
it did not look right. It didn't look right at all.
The thing is Braylon Allen wasn't lied to.
That's the biggest difference. He wasn't lied to, but some should have told him. Let me go elsewhere.
Don't smell right.
Nah, not at all. Western Michigan finished 4-8 last season and 3-5 in the MAC. What is the overall temperature in Kalamazoo right now, Nino? Shout out to the MAC. I think the MAC is the first conference, and Moona have to correct me if I'm right, where every school is a friend of the program. So shout out to the MAC.
I'm pretty sure you are correct there.
Yeah.
Excitement. I think it's dynamite. We're moving on up like the Jeffersons.
Hey, we got a good time saying Jeffersons referencing the same joint. I'm loving it. Keep cooking, Nino.
There's a lot of players. I'm just going to roll right into it, right? There's some players here that I think, might be something brewing. Jalen Buckley. That dude. Like, not THATD. Dude. That dude. He had 189 attempts for almost 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. More than half of his yards came after contact. Ooh. This dude is a certified chain mover. 50 first downs. He's shifty. He's elusive. Can run inside. Can run outside. Also brings a pass catching capability to his game. He is a dude. Missed a couple of games due to injury. Came right back like it didn't even affect him. This kid is going to take off like a rocket ship. Kenny Womack. Okay. Took him a little bit. Finally got established. 76 receptions, 700 yards. This is the stat that I think is going to take off. 1 touchdown last season. I got a funny feeling we're going to see somewhere in the realm of 5 to 7 touchdowns on Kenny Womack this year. I mentioned TVD. He got to do something. He has to do something. I still go back to all these people that told me Tyler Van Dyke was better than Will Levis. You people. I got receipts. I'm not always right. I know I'm wrong on things. But if you want to beat me to oblivion about shit,
right,
I'm not going to let you live it down when you're wrong. Trust me.
Oh, I'm using that bookmark tab this year. An awful lot. I enjoyed seeing Late Kick Josh get a lot of payback at the end of last season. So I'm using that bookmark tab this year.
But I think TVD going to have a new best friend. Okay.
Who's TVD's new best friend?
Like Bert and Ernie. Okay.
Uh-oh.
We're going to have TVD and Will Pollin. Will Pollin figured it the F out last season. Out of nowhere, 30, I mean, boom, 800 yards, a bunch of touchdowns, 70 receptions, shifty, and work the slot. He's a dude. Can do whatever he needs to do to get open. Downfield, threat. I think this is going to be TVD's guy. Then a guy in Western Michigan on the defensive side of the ball. This kid emerged. Sophomore, defensive lineman. He was eating like the Zeke meme last year, right? 31 tackles, 8 tackles for loss of 2.5 sacks. This is a kid with very little experience that came in there and just kind of took over and was dominant on that line. Is there a chance that this gentleman, young Walker, a.k.a. Skywalker, can be nuisance for TVD and kind of keep Western Michigan around, because they're a team that can eat the clock, run the ball successfully, pass it here, pass it there when necessary, and just eat that clock and put up. I like Wisconsin, and you know me. I'm in that pocket where year 2 and 3 with Fickle and Rule is usually where things start to turn around.
Right. That's where they start to eat. Yeah.
But I said it before, and I'll say it again. That was a Challenger explosion last year. With the fact that Ches Malini was leading your backfield, Jeff Sims, right? Like, was it Sims? No, it wasn't. Who was the quarterback there last year?
It was the kid from SMU.
Oh, Mordecai.
Yeah, right? yeah. Tanner Mordecai.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he was a turnover machine early in the season. So
he was. That Georgia Southern game was one of the hardest P4, well, it was P5 last year games to watch last season.
Yeah, they got Lucy. You got some explaining to do if you ain't coming out of this one.
My dog Jared, what's happening, bro? So Western Michigan is a 24.5 dog in this game. Prediction time, Nino. Who you got? And are you taking Wisconsin on the spread?
I believe in year 2 Luke Fickell.
Okay.
But I also believe in year 2 Lance Taylor and what he's building in Kalamazoo.
Okay.
Wisconsin wins by 20, but Western Michigan covers.
Western Michigan covers. I like that. I like the pick of Wisconsin, of course, and I love the pick of Western Michigan covering it, because until Wisconsin can show us that they can score the ball time and time again, I think that's why 24.5 dog is the reason why I was 24.5 dog. All right, Nino. See, Nino don't like layups, bro. I asked Nino to pick games, and he only picked one game. The rest of these games were not layups at all. We have a big-time showdown in Atlanta, Georgia, between Clemson, with a team whose head coach is trying to prove that the old method of college football still works, that we're going to recruit out of the high school. I don't know what this transfer portal thing is. And Georgia, who's on a revenge tour for not making the playoff a season ago. Nino, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs have run into some legal situations as of late. What is the overall temperature in Athens? And you're always going to be honest with us, but I need you to be brutally honest with us. What's going on? What's going on with this team in Athens? I watched College Game Day the other day, and I saw everybody say, well, until somebody can prove they can beat Georgia, I'm going Georgia. I don't see it that way. I'm sorry. I do not see it that way.
The temperature in Athens,
I'm willing to die on.
The temperature in Athens is arrested. Okay, that's the temperature in Athens right now. All right, and the cops are beating Georgia every step of the way. Let me tell you that. Okay, so somebody can beat them. They're finding a way to do it.
Hey, what you say the temperature in Georgia is?
Arrested.
This guy's a fool, man. Nino Brown, Must See TV, man. That's crazy work right there, dog.
Nah, hey, listen. Kirby's pissed off. He's hearing all the shit. He knows. I mean, they're probably gonna come out and ready to snap necks, but you got to prove it. I got to see you. Like, this has probably been the most shit they've had to deal with in a bit, right? Outside of Stetson Bennett, which they swept under the rug real quick. He gave a, me and Scooby-Doo face real quick. But I think there's pieces, but are they healthy enough? We already heard just a little while ago that Roderick Robinson's not going to play week 1. So you're looking at Travis Etienne and kind of an open backfield after that.
Yeah.
Will they try to rely on Carson Beck, and will it be too much early and often? We shall see.
Clemson is coming off a 9-4 season last year, but let mainstream media tell it. They were like, they weren't even bowl eligible last year. Like, it was crazy. Nino, what's the current temperature in Clemson?
Fed the heck up.
Uh-oh.
Ready to run the old bag out of town if things don't turn around quick. And I'm talking about that painting with the pitchfork and broom type shit. I'm talking about lighting your house on fire type. They'll run this man right there. He's going to reside on the other side of the country if they don't figure it the heck out this year.
I get a feeling from time to time. And I mentioned it to you before. And before we get into the players to watch for both teams, which you do so well, I got a funny feeling about this one. I got a feeling we may get a Dabo special. Like just something we haven't seen in a little while. But like, if you told me on Monday that Clemson found a way to win this game, I would say I'm not surprised. I would truly say I'm not surprised. I've got a feeling we're on the verge of something with Dabo this season. It could be terrible. It could be fantastic.
It's gonna be something.
It's gonna be something because this guy. You ever see somebody that is just like so driven? And I know you see that person in the mirror every day. But somebody's just so driven and somebody that is such a maniac. And he's just on the verge to prove, like he really wants to prove, like imagine in a world where somehow, some way, some shape, some form, Clemson is able to win a national championship in this era, doing it his way. The middle finger tour.
He'd call Nick out.
He's going on the middle finger tour, bro. He's giving everybody the finger, bro.
Going to give you that goofy look.
Yeah, he is going to give you that goofy
you know
look.
What I mean?
I just got a funny feeling about this game. But talk to me about the players to watch for both of these teams,
I'll go right off the rip. I'll address the elephant in the room. Cade Klubnik. I mean, he needs to turn it around fast that Robert Downey Jr. did from drug addict to Iron Man. This is what he needs to do, and it needs to be that quick, okay? Ain't no time to waste, man. Ain't nobody got time for that, all right? He got to be 19-9. Isn't going to cut it at Clemson, but neither is 6.1 yards per attempt either.
Nah, that's not happening.
You know what I'm saying? So he got to figure it out. He got to do something. I think, Will Shipley's gone. Phil Moffitt is that dude, but you better get familiar with Keith Hammerhead Adams Jr. Okay, I didn't make the name up. That's what they call him in practice. If you give a dude named Hammerhead, there's only 2 reasons. All right, one of them scoring touchdowns. The other one we ain't talking about. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. Woodser, McLeod, or the true freshman Samuel Brown. One of them dudes has got to replace the production and the leadership that Jeremiah Trotter had. Barrett Carter's going to do Barrett Carter things, okay? But somebody got to replace what Trotter did. Whether it's one guy, whether it's a group of a bunch of guys. I don't know how much Sammy Brown is going to play. I feel like he kind of went from being 2 on the depth chart to 3 on the depth chart as spring and fall camp is gone. He may get some time. He may not. I'm not necessarily sure. Dabo has done some things in the past that'll surprise you. Another guy Benjamin Urasek, right? Like when he transferred to Georgia, it was kind of right? Because I've been saying for a little bit that this was the most talent that they had in the wide receiver room probably in years.
Mhm.
And then they went out and got a tight end for the other side because you have Dell, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
does this mean you don't trust the wide receiver room, or do you not trust the running back room? So you're gonna have to have another option.
All right, what-
Injury shortened last year, so he only played in 4 games, but he's got over 108 yards and 1,300 receiving yards in 3 seasons for Stanford. I want to see how he works with who's going to be the guy that stays home in the pass pro, right? Is it going to be Dell? Is it going to be Urasek? Urasek's kind of a little bit smaller than Dell by poundage, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
who's going to be the guy that gets the call to stay home in the run game or to stay home to protect, Carson Beck? So I want to see how that works out. Or will they both be integral pieces to the pass game?
I love it. So Clemson are 13.5 dogs. Prediction time, Nino. Who you got?
It's funny you said what you said before, because if I can show you what I got on the thing, this is literally what it says word for word. My heart says Georgia, but my guts tell me Clemson covers. Like, I'm talking about final 3 minutes, we get a winner covers. Like, in a strange world, if Garrett Riley's in control,
that's a huge if.
And him and Cade are on the same page, whether that page is the encyclopedia or the comic book, we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
This could be the Horned Frogs from 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
It really could.
It really could. It took a year.
We got a glimpse of it in the Gator Bowl though versus Kentucky. We did get a glimpse of it.
Got a little bit, right? Like the first year TCU, nobody knew Max Duggan. Right. But year 2, ooh, we was cooking with bacon grease.
Yeah, they were darlings. All right, so you got Clemson covering the 13.5.
I got Clemson covering. I honestly think it's a game that's decided by either team in the final 3 minutes.
In the final 3 minutes, either team. I'm going to say Clemson more than covers. I got an upset alert. I'm taking Clemson.
Hold up, because now I got problems with you. Let's talk SEC then.
Yeah, let's talk it.
So my team's winning the SEC then. If Georgia loses week 1, Missouri's winning the SEC.
Outright regular season or conference?
Outright regular season.
Outright regular season, yeah. Mizzou can win outright regular season. I don't think there'll be any undefeated teams in the SEC.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any. But
because you said that you think that Georgia loses to Ole Miss, correct?
Yeah.
So that would be 2 losses.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any. And those 2 losses will still get them in the playoff.
Where? At 10?
Huh? Yeah. Not at number 4, of course, not 1 through 4, but yeah, it can get them at 10. SEC is going to get at least 4 teams in this year. But I got who you got?
Boomer, I love you to death. You about to get a wake up call about the Oklahoma Sooners.
I did not see that tape.
Wake up call, bro.
He said Mizzou loses to OU. He's calling it. Hey,
I
Boomer,
said this
put it on the table, bro.
Season, Oklahoma gets at least 3 L's. And I don't think they're in the playoff.
On a count of 3, tell me who you got winning the national championship. 1, 2, 3.
Texas.
Ole Miss. You going Texas, bro?
I don't get off my flags, bro. I stay on my hills till I die. It's been 3 years.
Texas?
This is the year they figure
why Texas? Why Texas over Oregon?
I don't trust old Sooners, bro. I don't trust old.
You never liked Dylan Gabriel.
I hated that dude from UCF. I don't trust him.
I don't think
he's got. I don't think he got as big enough balls as Bo Nix. And when you come to put him on a table, I don't think he's got it. There's big games in Oklahoma.
He's going to take Oregon to higher heights than Bo Nix took Oregon to higher heights.
Oh, you're crazy.
Oh no, Bo Nix some of the stats he got, bro, barely got touched. You see what he's doing in preseason now. Clearly won the Broncos job. His stats may not be better, but when we talk about heights, we're talking about playoff heights. And it's 12 teams. It's not fair. I know. And I know that's probably where we were gonna go. That was gonna be your rebuttal.
I talk about 4, bro. I don't give a shit about
right.
5 to 12. Okay?
Yeah.
I care about the top.
I like Dylan Gabriel. I've been a fan of Dylan Gabriel. The fellas.
Watch Quinn Ewers get drafted higher than Shedeur Sanders. You book me on that one.
You said one who?
Watch Quinn Ewers go and get himself drafted higher than Shedeur Sanders.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Well, if you go by all these people in the offseason, Shedeur's going in the first 3 picks.
You know why I wouldn't doubt that, right? GTA, bro. It's GTA and Boulder, bro. I wouldn't doubt that at all. He said Bo Nix was a dude at Oregon. Yes, absolutely. He was.
Everybody says that shit now.
What?
That Bo Nix was a dude at Oregon.
Yeah,
when he was doing it for 2 years at Oregon, there was all the questions.
Yeah, well, it's
questions.
It's because of Brian Harsin and Mike Bobo. That's why the questions were there, because of that. His second season at Auburn was terrible, and I mean terrible. Let's get into this last game. I kind of tricked you guys a little bit earlier. The Broncos of Boise State are heading to Statesboro to take on Georgia Southern Eagles. Boise State just named Maddox Madsen the starting quarterback. You know, you got a habit of just calling shit, bro. You get on my nerves with that shit, bro. What's the current temperature in Boise, Idaho, man?
Shocked. Has to be, right? Especially when you get a 5-star QB transfer and he can't even stop.
That's crazy.
All the buzz got to be around Doak Walker and Heisman hopeful Aston Genty. He going, can he keep the wheels on the train the whole season? That's all. We got to hope he stays healthy.
Can we have a candid conversation?
Sure.
And shout out to everybody who's tuning in. Back-to-back shows, we might have set a record with concurrent viewers, because both of these shows have had 35 plus people in there watching the entire time, and that means the world to me. Is Malachi chartering waters that we don't like to speak of on this show? Is
Chase Daniels? Not Chase Daniels.
Tate Martell. Is he chartering those waters, or he's not quite there quite yet?
I was gonna say,
probably making 5-star scribe.
Hey, wait. Who went to Rice? It was Chase Daniels, right? No, not Chase Daniels.
It was the kid from Georgia. It wasn't
Daniel
Chase.
Something, right?
Yeah, it was. Because Stetson Bennett took his spot. It's bothering me.
JT Daniels.
JT Daniels, yes.
He's going down that path, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to go tear down
to start
to tear
go
up.
back up. Right. Yeah.
I said this last week. I'll say it again. He has nowhere to go but Boise. Unless someone says, I'll go out on 3 years ago's production and take a shot, because they're going to have to pay him to take him out of Boise State.
Right? They are.
Where are you going, bro? Are you going to go to Tarleton State next? Like, what's next at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I've always said it. I've been saying it for, a year now. I don't trust these services, bro. I don't trust these services and the people that are giving these stars and rankings. I
can't wait till your metric is out. And I know I'm not supposed to speak about it, but I can't wait till your metric is out, bro. It's gonna change. It's gonna change this world. It really is.
It'll change a couple things the way we look at them, But it's just, he's treading some. Yeah. I wouldn't say uncharted, but fully charted that never came back.
He is. It's hard because at the end of the day, our role in this business is to be honest and to be candid about our takes. He's being chastised online, and I hate to see it, but he's definitely chartering some interesting waters.
Yo, he got beat out by the 106th ranked quarterback in the 2022 class.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
that's like the guy at the top of Mount for Ricola. Like that speaks
Right. Right.
volumes,
Right.
bro. Like you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
It does.
I don't know. Maybe we can figure it out. But when was the last time we seen a 5-star transfer down and not make the cut?
Whew, you're really testing my memory bank here. I'm not sure.
At least 5-10 years? At least?
What was that kid's name? I think he might have got injured. He's at was it Texas? Then went to Nebraska. Then went to was it FIU or FAU?
Oh, hold on. FAU when he got benched.
Yeah,
Now Oklahoma first.
he was at Oklahoma. Then Nebraska. He lost to Jeff Sims, and then he transferred to
He went to FAU last year.
yeah FAU. He was with the Owls. No.
No, I'll tell you right now. I knew his name. Casey Thompson.
Casey Thompson. There we go.
I was about to type in FAU, but
Uh-huh.
I remembered.
Uh huh.
Yeah. That's 6 years, 5 schools or something like that.
Right. Because he's is he where's he at now? Because he walked on somewhere.
Is he at? I don't know. He's somewhere that we don't want to.
Right.
He ain't gonna play. This is him just
He's
living
not
his
gonna
last
play.
hoorah.
Yeah. He walked on. That's interesting, man. So Georgia Southern started the season red hot last year. They were 6-2 before dropping their last 5. What's the current temperature in Statesboro? He's at OU. I thought he was at OU now. He went back to OU. He walked on.
Excited,
Mhm.
but we need to see some progression.
I like that.
31 turnovers had him tied with Nebraska for the most in the FBS on the offensive side of the ball.
Mhm.
That's not good. Right? How long before the alumni and the trustees have had enough of the 65-plus plays on offense with the turnover machine behind it before they're getting on the phone calling for some different options in the head coaching department?
Yeah, defense is worn out too. Shout out to Georgia Southern. They are a friend of the program as well. So who are the players to watch for both teams, you know?
I'm going to go with Jalen Wright, running back for Southern. He got great production out of Wright in back-to-back seasons, and now it's time for Wright to take off and take flight like the Wright brothers and get over that 1,000-yard mark and hit another year of double-digit touchdowns. They just named J.C. French the starting QB. It may not seem like anything. You know, he was a redshirt freshman last year. He only had a couple attempts, but he beat out former Indiana QB Dexter Williams II. Came in with a little bit of oomph behind him. You know, he was a dude that they thought might have been a guy in Indiana, and he's a dual threat guy. So says a little bit something there. For me, I talked about him last year. I think this is when he's going to take off. Prince Stratham, right, for Boise State. I love Cam Camper, but he's not 100%. And Eric McAllister took the first bus out of Boise as he could last season. Okay, Stratham should be the main wide receiver threat early, and if he makes a connection with Maddox Madison, he could be often. He averaged over 18 yards per catch in the last 5 games that he started. I think this kid is going to be that outside threat for them. I think he's going to be a dude. Another guy, DB, okay, Georgia Southern, Amari McCoy. He was great in coverage until the bowl game, right? That's when he let up his first score of the whole season. But he had 6 pass breakups and 3 picks last season. Look for him to try to be that lockdown guy in this game.
Georgia Southern, 13.5 dogs. Prediction time, Nino. I have a feeling who you got, but will they beat the spread?
I'm going to go Boise State by 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
I just don't know if Georgia Southern's offense can keep up all game. You know what I mean? Like you said, they were hot last year. Injuries took in and quarterback issues happened and you know they went downhill. I just don't know if they can go. Maddox gives them a spark, gives them a little bit of fire on the offense. We've seen a little bit last year down the stretch. When he was healthy, he played a couple games, got hurt for 2, and then came back. Did well. You see the good, you also saw the bad. But he gives them that spark, right? With Genty, don't sleep on Dunbar being a guy that can come in there, James Dunbar, and you know, spell Genty without a hiccup. Both of those guys, again, and Prince, I think this offense could put up points. It could be a shootout. Don't get me wrong, because again, but then everything that we read coming up to it, or what we heard as the rumor coming out of Boise was they're gonna run the ball,
right?
And who cares? But then they went with Maddox, which makes you think, well, maybe they're not just gonna run the ball, because we've seen him air it out last year quite a few times. I think people are kind of not sleeping on Boise, but kind of like, I'm going to pause. Maybe I'll revisit Boise State in week 3 or 4 and see where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they kind of blow out Southern in this game. Like, I think they win by at least 3 touchdowns.
I'm definitely with you. Boise State will win, and I think they'll win big as well, man. Nino, you're a dog, man. Absolute dog, man. It's a pleasure working with you, bro. Hey, man, tell them where they can find you at, man.
You can find me at the CFB Nation. On every social media platform out there, and at __ Nino Brown __. This is home, baby.
We appreciate the 17K on the tube. We appreciate the 15K on the Insta. It's crazy some of the heights that, and we're honestly just getting started. It's crazy some of the heights that we've been reaching. As I always like to say, shout out to everybody in the chat. My guy Boomer was active. Moon was in here for a second. Bo Sarge was in here.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to everybody that's been watching and trust and believe it does not go unnoticed.
Garnett Roost is back Thursday, baby.
Hey, I am so excited for that. I was going to ask you about that. It's a P2P. You guys are releasing this week as well, right? What time?
Right after this.
Right after this? Oh, well, that's what I'll be watching as I go to sleep. I do got to wake up early in the morning to work out. But, hey, man, that's always like to say there are no more victories in the sport that survive in advance. That's why college football has the greatest regular season. And until next time, y'all already know what it is. Yes, sir. Today I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, a.k.a. Downtown Nino Brown.